Hello, 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 and welcome. Today, as promised, we are to discuss Brazil and astrology of Brazil of 2026. And Brazil is a country that I deeply love. Well, I've never been to Brazil, but I know many Brazilians, and they are exceptional people. So, bom dia, bom tarde, boa noite, brasileiros. And we'll have a look at Brazilian horoscope for this and next year. So first of all, let's get back to one of the charts that I've shown you before. This is what is going on in the sky right now. So we have Pluto in Aquarius, Neptune and Saturn together in the first degrees of Aries, and we'll have Uranus in Gemini. This year it's going back to Taurus for a couple of months, and then back in April into Gemini. And this bisextile, so we have two sextiles between Pluto and Neptune and Saturn, and Uranus and Neptune and Saturn at the world point, the first degree of Aries, are creating this construct, and we have trine between Uranus and Pluto. Loads of energy. Really, this is, I think, that's it. This is the times of our days, the most energy working together in the sky, and they affect each and every point, each and every first couple of degrees of each and every zodiac sign, and let's say few last couple of degrees of each and every zodiac sign. So if you have any placements, or if your country has placements at the very end of the zodiac sign or at the very beginning of another zodiac sign, these places are going to get affected somehow. If these points are here, 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 or here, that's gonna be a very strong interaction. Plus, we are going to have special points here at the beginning of Virgo and beginning of Scorpio that are going to receive yards. And I just thought to myself that the first degree of Libra, first degrees of Libra, is going to receive extra energy, because this trine is creating a big trine yard as well. So a grand trine forming if you have any placements, or if your country has any placements in the first degrees of Libra as well. That would be very, very positive. But with this opposition of Sol, that's gonna be a massive point as well. Anyways, so this year and the years to come are going to be quite, as they already are, spectacular. And if we are talking about Brazil, and this is what we are going to do now, Brazil too does have one of placements in one of the first degrees of Aries in the world point. And let me just get into the horoscope of Brazil. So we'll have a look at that. And come on. And this is the progress chart this is the natal horoscope of Brazil inside, and progress chart of progress planets outside. And at this stage, there isn't really many major progressed planets affecting the natal planets of Brazil, apart from Mercury opposing Sun. So that, let's see, would be the intellectual way of working and looking for partners all over the world as a country. And then later in 2026, or maybe even in 2027, we'll have conjunction of progressed moon with highest point of the horoscope of Brazil. But as such, we'll discuss it at the later stage. Hopefully I will still make a couple of videos about horoscope of Brazil in future. But the transit horoscope is what's on my mind regarding Brazil right now. And I'm gonna show you that right now. because transits are going to be extremely interesting for Brazil. So first of all, let's get back to this construct that we have in the sky. Here I have a horoscope for Brazil, transit horoscope for Brazil for early February 2026. And we can see these planets, Pluto, Neptune, Saturn, and Uranus working together. And the most important thing that is going to happen, that's from beginning of February, but they are slow-moving planets, so effects of this astrological and astronomical events will take months and will be felt for months or maybe even years. So first of all, this big conjunction that we'll have of Saturn and Neptune in the first degrees of Aries is happening here on the natal Pluto of Brazil. And natal Pluto of Brazil is in 0.13 degrees of Aries. So this massive big conjunction that happens every 40 something years, but this time it's supported by Uranus and Pluto, is happening exactly on the Pluto of Brazil. So it is going in a way to affect the deepest potential, and that's both financial and spiritual potential of Brazil, in a way that Neptune is going to dissolve these values, while Saturn is going to create restrictions and containers for these values in the same time. So it is difficult on its own. What I would expect from this transit in a horoscope of a person, that would be a very challenging period whenever it is supported by other positive aspects or not. But as I said, in the same time, that is going to be a dissolution of borders, imagination and illusions, together with strict logic, pattern making, and enclosing ideas and things that are difficult to enclose, like gas or liquid, into container. And this is going to deeply affect the deepest and hidden resources of Brazil. So that's team number one that is going to be played at that stage. In the very same time, we have Uranus, but Uranus, if this chart is correct, and you have to remember that the data I have here for Brazil, 164110, I'm not really sure that this is the exact hour. The day, all right, yeah, maybe plus 1 hour, minus 2 hours. I really doubted that they were capable of recording the proper time. Then again, we have this technique of recovering the timing of a country creation from investigative astrology. So I assume that this chart is not too bad, but a couple of minutes here and there in this case make a big difference between Uranus is going to conjunct again the IC of Brazil, and this is a planet of revolutions and sudden events, unexpected events. So if it is going to touch this point to make an exact conjunction with this point, that's a revolution-like situation. In the same time, when we are going to have this deepest hidden plutonic resources, plutocracy, so that would be secret service, hidden resources, hidden like, gold and minerals underground, everything that's hidden and underground is going to get affected by these three planets. And in the same time, by this planet as well, Pluto. And a couple of days earlier, so that would be in January, we are going to have this series of conjunction of Pluto with these four planets plus the moon that are going to affect these two places in the horoscope of Brazil. Anyway, I assume that this beginning of February whole January, February is going to be very exciting for Brazil. And if Uranus is going to touch this line, if this line is correct, and 2 or 3 minutes in the natal chart would make a difference. In this case, because Uranus is gonna go forward arc seconds away, so that could be 2 or 3 minutes difference in the natal horoscope that I have, and we could have a massive revolution. In a way, in Brazil, happening, that would be around February 2026. And as I said, the banking system of Brazil can be restructured in this, or can collapse in this time. It's not financial advice, and I'm not a financial advisor, and this is just astrology. So, yes, that's gonna be interesting for Brazil, and there's days later, after the 20th of February 2025, we are going to have these conjunctions, and again at this very point. So that's gonna be interesting. Anyway, let's get to another chart from 2026 of Brazil, and that is the 4th. No, we have to get back to the other charts for February. So because in the very same time, so many things is actually happening, because we are going to get this conjunction happening on the 19th, 20th of February 2026, and in the same time we are going to have Uranus that will stop retrograding on the 3rd, 4th of February. So it means that if it touches this point, Uranus is gonna do the last job it is supposed to do in Taurus. It means it will move forward and finish off the job with widely understood banking system and the values that we store and produce and work for our lives. And it's gonna revolutionize it all over the world, yeah? But especially in Brazil, if it touches this line, it means some sort of unexpected events and revolution regarding the root understanding of Brazil as country. So I would say there might be some sort of a revolutionary movement in Brazil. So that's the beginning of February. And then on the 19th to 20th of February, we are going to have this big conjunction that, as I said, in the same time, dissolution and bonding of the deepest hidden resources of Brazil. So these are the dates for January, February, and then interesting moments for Brazil that we are going to have is around the 4th of July, and that's actually quite an interesting date, because it is going to affect the newly elected mayor of New York City as well. But this conjunction, it's not gonna be as such long lasting as the other aspects that I've spoken about, but is going to create a reverse yard. It's a strong figure aspecting Mars, and this is one of the points that are going to get affected by these yards that I've spoken about earlier. So some sort of tension can be created by these big construct in the sky as well. I mean combat tension. But this reverse yacht could be a trigger moment as well for some sort of revolutionary behavior in Brazil, because it's going to affect the way Brazil develops itself and the need for combat and some sort of a revenge. And at the same time, Brazil has this uniqueness in working for other countries. For example, samba music, carnival, and some powdered substance as well. this is the nature of Brazil, and it is going to get affected by the forces of revolution, brilliance, electricity, war, and initiation in the same time. So that's going to be the 4th of July 2026. That can be interesting for Brazil as well. And I wish I have enough time to cover this horoscope again, because as I said before, I do love Brazilians and people, and hopefully we'll get back to this horoscope later in 2026, because I'm trying to do as many countries as possible, to cover as many things around the world as possible. But the good news is that as soon as this quite difficult and challenging aspects will be gone, and especially I haven't mentioned one thing, because that is going to happen where it is coming. That is going to happen in 2027 for the first time, let's say around May 2027, when Uranus, while being in Gemini, is restructuring the way we communicate. So it gave us the television, radio in the 20th century, and the flow of information in this way, and it is going to restructure the communication. But in Brazil, it is going to affect again the root where Brazil is coming from, the family, and it's going to make some sort of a revolutionary movement here regarding communication and where Brazil is coming from. But in the very same time, I said that there's gonna be that we do have this very strong construct in the sky of Pluto, Neptune, Saturn, and Uranus working together. And as soon as these values will get revolutionized, there is a period that's gonna be 2000. Hopefully we'll discuss it again, because there is so many fascinating horoscopes right now that are going to affect the world, and we'll try to cover most of them. But then in 2028, hopefully, there is going to be very prolific and beautiful period for Brazil. But if Brazil gets through this 2026-27, then in 2028 we have Pluto that is going to trine these exalted emotions of Brazilian as a nation, and their root values of existence in the sign of communication, is going to receive a beautiful aspect from Pluto that is very strong, because this is the last time Pluto is out of bounds for the next 5,000 years or something like that, and Jupiter in the same time. So hopefully this very powerful type of a yod is going to, I hope, financially and economically will drive Brazil forward for a very long period of time. So these are my hopes for Brazil, and these are my expectations that I shared with you about how is Brazilian horoscope going to influence Brazil in 2026, and hopefully all be good and Brazil will be fine. We'll see what sort of changes are going to happen, and I'll be more than happy to discuss them with you whenever times come. But I do say that 2025 and 2026 and 27 are going to be quite very interesting for Brazil. We'll see how it goes. ask me questions in the comments. And see you next time. And hopefully next time I will cover the horoscope of euro and dollar. And actually I just had a tiny briefly look at the horoscope of dollar and euro, and they seem to be exciting as well. So all best, better, and see you next time. Bye bye.